All right, boys, here's the rules.
Yeah, crashing out.
Listen, there will be no crashing out. There will be no cursing at each other. There will be no talking about each other's mothers,
We
baby
don't do
mamas,
that. We don't do that.
cousins,
We don't do that.
grandparents.
It's,
You know,
it's
their
me and Cucuy. We
diet.
don't do that.
No,
It's me and
Eric,
Cucuy.
I'm just, hold on. I'm just preferencing. This is what you're going to debate:
Okay.
Eagles
hmm
yeah,
versus Cowboys.
hmm
Who finishes? Ready? Who finishes with a better record? Who makes the playoffs and who doesn't make the playoffs?
Okay. Can you also add the fact of how we do in our division?
And who how you do in your division. So
no touching of the hair or face.
So what?
and for that I'm gonna go because he's my business partner. You're up first.
Ja up first is crazy. All
Kill me,
right,
Connor.
so for one,
Kill me.
obviously I got us winning the division. I have us going 4-2 in the division,
Everybody on mute
and
besides them two.
I have us going 4-2 in the division, and we're gonna have the better record. I think personally we'll finish. What would it be? 13-4, 13-4, and the Cowboys probably finish around 12-5. Probably 11. Probably 11-6. The reason being is that one, we didn't get worse anywhere at all. Yeah, you can argue probably corner, but other than that, nowhere on the field did we get worse. On top of that, the offense stayed the same. You can argue the offense got. You can all argue that the defense probably got better. If you think about improving what they can do, defense got better. Coaching, obviously, you give us the edge in coaching. Offense may take a step back, but we know the defense is elite. Oh, we know the defense is elite. Cowboys, there's too much uncertainty. We don't know how Dak's going to be when he comes back. We don't know
Exactly.
how we don't know how Mike is going to be. We don't know anything about their defense. We know nothing about their defense is real new. Offense is new. Everything's new. So I think for a minute, it's going to take them a while to adjust and reset and to get better. Only two teams that have beaten us is Washington because normally they always beat us, and so is the Cowboys. We rarely sweep the Cowboys. So those are the only two teams that have beaten us. Other than that, I have us far in the division, and for the first time in 20 years, the Eagles repeat.
Oh, that was amazing. All right. Cooey, you're up, buddy.
How y'all doing? So I have the Cowboys winning the division. I have
Dang.
a I have a 12-5 season ahead of us. I feel like we're going back to that stage again. We're going to go back to 12-5. We did it 3 years in a row. I feel like our offense has progressed, even though we don't have a run game. But I mean, we can make something shake. There's never been a year in the 2000s that the Cowboys haven't had at least a run core that runs for less than 1,500 yards. It's manageable because the other day we're a pass first team. I think I like what Shotty's done so far off of the field. I feel like he gets along with Jerry Jones to make him move pieces. I don't know how it is, but out of all the coaches that we've had in the 2000s, that I feel like Jerry Jones is more lenient towards Shotty. Um, and so far that I feel like when it comes to Dak Prescott in the division, I mean, he owns the NFC East as a whole. He plays confidently after every injury. Now, I can't say the same. This is just going off of the past. Um, and I think in the division, we 1-1 the Eagles. I feel like we lose the first game, and that's where we're going to figure out where we sit against tier one opponents. And then I feel like we go split with Washington and we sweep the Giants. And then that's really where I got my Cowboys so far this year. I can't speak for the playoffs. I can't speak for anything else. But as of an overview of the entire season, I feel like that's where we will land.
Okay. All right.
I got a
So
question real quick. I got a question real quick for both of them.
Yeah, and I do too. So go ahead, Chief.
Okay.
My first and only question that I have is I need you guys to elaborate more on the division itself.
Mm-hmm.
And my thing is I want when you guys are talking about divisions, I don't want you guys to use history. I don't want you guys to use history from the last four times. I also would challenge you, Kukui, to not bring up the fact that Dak's coming off injury because I don't use that as a point when there's only one example of it. If there's three or more, yeah, but there's only one example of Dak coming off of injury and him playing good. So I challenge you to use another point other than that.
So you want to go first? Cool, you want to go first or me? Oh,
It
I
don't
guess
matter.
I'm
It's
going
up to
first.
you. Go ahead. Let me know.
All right. So for one, you look at the Redskins. I think earlier when England was talking about their defense. Well, I'm sorry, Commanders. Their defense isn't good. Yes, Bob, you got Bobby Wagner and these guys, but their defense isn't good. The Giants, all they have is a defense, and they have shown in the past their defense can't carry them to 7, 8, 9 wins. They don't have a trusting running back, running core. They don't have anything for real. Like they have Malik Neighbors, the receiving core is really shaky. Offensive line is bad. Rush, we don't know how Rush is going to be. And this game is new, so we don't know who the quarterback is going to be for that matter. So there's too many question marks with the Giants for them to even be a factor. The Commanders, yeah, we don't know how Debo is going to be when he comes. We don't know anything. They still don't have a true running game outside of Jaden Daniels and outside of making something work. Yeah, they have a running back by committee, but they don't have a true running back where you can fear their running game. You only really fear JD as of right now. Scary Terry, yes, he's good. But outside of him, they don't have a true threat out of those two guys. Defensively, their defense isn't good. Mikey on the secondary isn't good. Marshawn Lattimore, since he's been on the team, hasn't shown that he's good. Only like they have a Lulu with some outliers, and they lost Allen. They have a few outliers. Other than that, their defense hasn't shown to be good at all. Cowboys, their defense is shaky. They lost a lot of guys. Their secondary isn't that good. They're off. They still don't have a run game. They have a passing game. They don't have a run game. That's it. They don't have nothing outside of that. Yes, they have an offense line, but we don't know how good the offense line is going to be after retirement or the rookie, how good the rookie is going to be. He could be bad for, we don't know any. There's too many question marks in the division outside of the Eagles for me to believe that the Eagles are not reaching.
Okay. Okay.
To
Well,
punch
what I
in,
would like to do now is do it a little bit different.
huh?
Let's flip it to the panel. Panel, I want you guys to ask them a question about.
Well, Mitch,
Mitch,
Wait,
Cucuy,
hold on, Mitch. You got to
Mitch
finish first. You
Cucuy
got to
got
finish
to answer.
first.
Cucuy
yeah,
got
he's
to
got
answer.
to finish.
My bad.
Cucuy got to
Well, what
answer
I was
Chiefs
gonna
and New
say
England.
is I disagree with the Giants. Not they're in the same position as Pittsburgh. They have offensive weapons. They have Malik Neighbors. They have a decent run core. It's not terrible. It's just the quarterback position, which I think two quarterbacks they're guaranteed a 500 season. I think they could go, you know, 9-8. I don't think that's impossible, especially with the competitiveness of their defense, and they're adding what I would not say generational talents, but they're adding franchise talents to their rosters. Um,
Yeah,
and
I'll say that's the feeling. I'll say like that's the feeling, but I'm not expecting them to hit 9 games. That's what
and
I'm
then
saying.
and then adding into Washington, I personally think just because Washington hasn't done enough on their defense, yes, they progressed on offense. They went out and got Debo. They have Scary Terry. Scary Terry and Debo together is going to be a nasty wide receiver duo. But it's all up to are you going to play? Are you going to be able to have a shootout every game just because your defense is a liability every single game and still come back? Like New England's point earlier is all of these 1 point games. Are you going to be able to outscore your opponent that many times? Right? And actually have progress this time. Because you have teams like the Giants, what's the model that we all know? Defense wins games. So it can be a low scoring game because they can't score on offense and the Giants get a turnover in the red zone and they end up losing. So I feel like just how stronger the defenses have gotten in the NFC East and the talent that these teams have picked up, everybody besides necessarily Washington, I feel like Washington is gonna fall either in the third or fourth spot. I feel like New York will have an upper hand because I feel like they'll have a manageable offense, and I think they'll have a better defense than they have offense. But I feel like they're more manageable because it's the defensive talent that I see is going to have a lot of games won for them, or a lot of games maintained, or a lot of games being closer, just due to the fact that they're going to have an elite pass rush. In my opinion, I think it's going to be nasty. Then you go on to the Cowboys. I mean, I think Micah's going to be able to play up on the edge more. I don't think he'd be in the linebacker position as much just because we're getting talent and we got a couple linebackers out of the draft. Not saying that, they're just going to be plugged in, it's going to wait, but I think it's a reason we went and got linebackers because we know we utilize Micah on the line more. He's better. He has more pressures, more sacks. I think we did that to necessarily move over the hump that we're not getting to yet because we haven't seen how the season played out. But we know Micah is a dog on the line. Now to go over to Philly, they're the most complete team in the NFL, not just the NFC East, but in the NFL, and that's 100%. But you did lose some veterans. You lost the king. I'm not gonna say the best players on your defense, but you lost a lot of veterans who were there as the leadership and the brand of that team who stuck it together like glue. You can have talent, but if you're not all in sync, is it gonna work? You may not find your identity till later on in that year. So
All right. So besides Brandon Graham, can you explain to me the guy that you're talking about, the leaders that you're talking about besides BG?
then you lose quarterback.
No.
Lost
See, I think
Slay. Yes, we lost Slay.
I think what he's referring to, you and his Eagles fan knows what he's done for your defense when he's been there.
You
CJ
talking about
Gardner
CJ?
Johnson,
That's what I was
yeah,
asking. That's what I was asking.
yeah.
I just
I
want to
think
know
he
who you was
talked
talking
about
about.
CJ. Yeah.
It's the leaders on your team, bro. It's the thing. You think losing one player doesn't affect? Like I can tell you now,
Hey,
Us losing
sorry to interrupt
Lewis.
you, Kukui, real quick. There's now a timer, by the way. So, like, please try to make your point more concise when you
You
do your
haven't been
argument.
doing a timer this whole time, LG.
Where
I
like
know but JB just said to, so I'm just telling
okay,
you.
okay, 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 bro. I haven't really been talking that long. Okay, go ahead. But
You good?
to put it to the point, bro. Like we lost Lewis, bro. That's gonna be we lost Lewis and we lost DeMarcus. Our defense is not. I don't think it's going to be as good unless Trayvon comes back to be a leader and he's not injured, or Micah Parsons steps up. That's the only way that I feel like our defense will be good. Well, I'm not going to say good again, but as great as it was in my eyes, as good as the top 10 talent that we were, that's the only way. But like I said, it's just a lot of pieces being moved around. But I feel like once we find our true identity, that we will get the edge over
Okay.
the
So
Philadelphia defense.
Kukui and Ja. My
So it's
question
up
to
to y'all
you,
now.
and we're gonna I think I'm like I don't know if I'm moderating the debates now, but
You
yeah.
are.
Anyway.
Go ahead.
So listen, this is what I want you guys to touch on this point, and we brought it up with Chiefs and I earlier. How do they win the division? So how do the Cowboys, if you think the Cowboys are going to win the division, how do they do that? Meaning, if you want to use the schedule, that's okay. But I would say use the first 8 weeks. Don't use the full
Yes, sir.
schedule. Okay.
I'm full with that.
Then
I'm good
the
enough.
second thing would be if you're talking about Washington or New York falling off. You brought up Bobby Wagner, which is a great point. But I want to challenge you on other things with Washington. You have to look deeper. Don't just look at, oh, they lost this guy or they brought this veteran in. I want to challenge you. Look at who they drafted. Look at who they brought in free agency. Like, yeah, Debo Samuel, they traded for him. Cool. Don't use a star player. I want you to use somebody off of Washington, off of their defense, that supposedly didn't play as well last year, but he won't play well this year. Because you said that Washington could finish third or fourth in their division. So somebody on that defense has to take a step back, right? So
I
you
did
have
that.
to.
I said Louisville. We don't know how
All
Louisville
right.
will be. We don't know if he's going to be as good as he was this year. Sorry,
You
Papa,
said
coming.
that,
Hold on.
yes, Ja. You said that, but I said Kukui. I challenged
I
Kukui.
can't. I wasn't gonna repeat after him. I
But
took
I
his
mentioned
point.
Mackey. I mentioned a
Yeah.
lot of guys. And,
So
they
okay.
lost
So
Jonathan.
forget the second point. Tell me how they win the division, Kukui. How do the Cowboys win the division?
I feel like the Cowboys win the division. I feel like throughout the year, I'm gonna just go ahead and put the whole plan that is out. I think we're gonna touch on taking the ball out of Dak's hands as much and only having him pass whenever it's available to pass, not forcing him to pass, not forcing him to throw the ball anymore. I feel like we'll utilize screenplays a lot more this year because that's the offense that Shotty said that he wants to run. We've been practicing that a lot this year. I feel like managing the ball and taking the ball out of Dak's hands, if you see that, even if in the playoffs, a lot of people say Dak doesn't perform in the playoffs. Dak actually has good three good games. But he has I'll say, yeah, he has three good games. He has two bad games. And one of them is the Niners game, and one of them is the Green Bay game. He played from behind in both of them. But again, that was up to our defense not showing up in those games. But other than that, Dak is very productive whenever he has a run game. So
Okay, but Kukui. That's not respectfully. That's completely outside of the point that I asked you. I asked you in their division. You said they're gonna win the
Even
division.
though that's outside the point. That's outside
Yeah.
the point.
exactly, I'm trying to cater up to the part where I'm trying to answer the
Okay.
Not
question.
only
So
is that
so
outside the
But it
point,
is
he
though.
also
get to the
But that
point of
also
how
form
I'm
an
many
trying to
argument. You
get
divisions.
to the
saying
point I was
you don't
almost
know,
doing. You didn't
and
have to say
you
nothing, bro.
questioned their run game.
All right, so let me get to my point, bro. I feel like once we minimize taking the ball, I'm taking the ball out of Dak's hands and utilizing Dak in the right position, that we'll get over the hump of forcing interceptions in big games like when we play our rivals like Philly. He usually throws one to two interceptions in those games that end up costing us at the end of the game. So I feel like it'll be a nail biter like it was 2 years ago when we were watching the clock during the game when we were playing and Philly was playing and Philly ended up winning. I feel like it'll come down to the last game of the season, and or the second to week 17 or week 18. It'll come down to one of those two games, whether we have to win or they have to win, right? And that's I think it'll happen in week 17 because usually I think it's week 17 and they'll rest their starters week 18. We will find out because I think it'll be a one game split and either we'll have the same record at the end of the year or we'll be one game ahead of them. That's the only way that I see it happen.
Okay. Ja, how did the Eagles win the division? What has to happen for the Eagles to win their division? Because Kukui answered his point on the Cowboys. Now you got to answer yours on the Eagles.
Outside the team, just same thing we did last season. Keep the ball in Saquon's hand. Like he was saying, they want to play like us, apparently. Move the ball at Jalen. Jalen, keep the ball out of Jalen's hands as much as possible, unless we need to. So, personally, I think about week 17, we will have the division locked up. Some of the fact that I think we beat the big guys like Lions, we beat the Cowboys early in the season, and we won the big games that we need to win. So where we don't, the rest of the season really doesn't matter. It's the Cowboys trying to catch up to us, or the rest of the division trying to catch up to us. Personally, I see it exactly how it was this season. The division was trying to catch up to us because we were running away with it. I just think we are the most complete team. There's no real holes on the team. Yes, you can argue we lost leaders. However, none of those guys were true captains outside Brandon Graham. He was the only guy who was a true captain. And on top of that, Fletcher Cox left, who was a captain, and we got better. Yes, we actually added Makuba, who plays the exact type of way he plays, minus the penalties and the distractions on the field. You might say he's not a real true distraction on the field. However, a lot of his antics rubs people the wrong way. Not saying it did on the team, it rubs people the wrong way. That's why he got traded. Just simple as that. There's no true holes on the team to where you can point to and say, yeah, they got worse here. So I just feel like we coast like we did this season. Simple.
Okay. Gumby said he has another bonus question. You guys made both really good points. Gumby, ask a bonus question real quick.
All right, what's up, everyone? First time caller, long time listener. Thanks for having me. No, I'm playing around. But all right,
Yeah,
so my question is, I guess, what do you think is a more beneficial or better move as far as having a backup quarterback? A old veteran that has obviously had his time and obviously has gone through the grinder, or a younger, I guess you say more talented or a more younger quarterback that might have lost his opportunity recently, that is obviously at a very, you could say, maybe higher athletic level, but doesn't have the overall I guess experience.
But I got a question for you: is the veteran proven itself, and is the rookie unproven? That's the only thing that I'm missing out of this is because you can ask that, but I can say I would have to see for both of them. Is it a proved rookie, or is it an unproved rookie, and is it a proven veteran, or is it an unproven veteran? I have to know.
when you're a rookie, I don't even think you
I
I'd
mean, what? No,
say
he
unless you're
said a
proven
younger
neither,
yourself.
backup.
though,
That's what he said.
personally.
But he said
I
a
guess
backup,
the
so
I
scenario
personally
I'm
would
thinking
say,
of is the fact that would you rather have a Gardner Minshew as your backup, or an Andy Dalton, or a Kirk Cousins,
take
or
I'm gonna take.
a
I'm
Daniel
gonna feel
Jones,
more
and why?
reliable. I'm gonna feel more reliable with someone who's already had their head in the fire instead of just throwing somebody in the fire. So I'm gonna take
yeah, give me the Joe Flacco.
the more experienced the Joe Flacco who could come off the bench and win me one or two, three extra games. If my quarterback goes down, I like the fact of the Gardner Minshew. Gardner
I
Minshew
could
was
throw
not
you
a
a
great
curve.
starter,
Well,
but Gardner Minshew was not a great starter. But Minshew madness was nasty, bro. We're not gonna sit here and say that Gardner Minshew didn't go to Philly and he competed with the Dakota Rain Prescott. Like he literally had him at a tip of his toes. Like I think that a proven vet who sat and watched, who can minimize his mistakes, when he comes out for one or two games, is more reliable than someone who's unproven and just thrown into the heat of the fire, bro.
all right, so this is supposed to be a debate, but we absolutely agree. But I would throw in the point of I would rather a quarterback that fits the scheme I run already. So like, say my quarterback gets hurt middle of the game, it's not where it's a drastic change. It's not a drastic change. We're running the same thing. Where prime example. Hold on. What's the example?
You can just go ahead and throw
Tyler,
the.
Lamar Jackson, Tyler Huntley.
Malik
That's a
Willis.
perfect example.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Malik. I was gonna
That
say
too.
Malik Willis or
Malik
Flacco.
Yeah,
Willis
Malik
or
Willis.
that
Malik
Tyler
Willis.
Malik.
Huntley. Yeah, they play
Yeah,
exactly the
because they
same.
run. Yeah.
My bad. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, Malik Willis for Green Bay. Yeah, exactly. That's a great point.
Yeah, Malik isn't necessarily the same type of quarterback as Jordan Love, but he fits the scheme
But you know,
just exact. He
yes.
just fits the scheme exactly. So
I was
that's
gonna say
why I
just
think
say
that.
Cooper Rush and Lamar because that's what's just happened.
All right, everybody. So, we're gonna start with one of one.
All
One of
right.
one. If you're here, or if you're not here, I'm gonna move on to Yep. Okay. So, one of one. I need to know your take on Juan Ja and Kukui. Mute up for a second. We're gonna let the panel decide this. Who do you think won that debate between the Eagles and the Cowboys when it came to who's going to be winning the NFC East this year?
Wait a minute. New England question: is this based off of the debate or what they think?
Based off the debate, just based off the
Okay.
debate that we saw.
Okay.
I don't think one of one's here, so put LG in the big box. So LG, out of what you heard, out of both talking points between Ja and Kukui, who won that debate?
Ja. I'm gonna give it to Ja there.
Okay, give me 3 reasons why.
All right. First off, I don't think it was. I don't think it was very hard to make his argument. He already has one. He already has a proven method that already worked. He explained exactly how it worked, what they needed to do, which was actually it, and it didn't sound as if his vision was wrong because, like I said, we obviously seen it. He went through his correlation of what he's going to do to his actual division, along with the reasons why other teams in his division won't win his division. So that's the reason why I got Ja on that one.
Okay, all right, Chief, put Chief in the big box.
All right. So the reason that I am going with Kukui on this one, I felt that as far as this goes back to Ja on this one, I feel kind of where as far as Philly goes, I heard the execution, it was great, but I just felt the overall structure of the argument and the way how Kukui explained it just a little bit better is the reason why I give him the slight edge on this one.
Okay, all right, Gumby.
I was just yeah. I mean, I came in a little bit later, but I'm gonna pretty much go off the fact of like what Chief was talking about as far as the explanation and the breakdown.
So you're going with Kukui?
Yep.
Yo, I don't think it was
Okay.
bullshit count. He wasn't here.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. We'll leave Gumby out.
Well, yeah, and I admitted that right away. So I came in a little bit late, but
Okay, all right. So Common, you're in the big box, Burbo. I need to know who you think won this debate between Ja and Kukui about the NFC.
Common usually isn't muted. He's probably off doing something. Oh,
Nah,
there he
nah.
is. There he
Hey,
is.
yo, listen. I'm gonna be honest with y'all, dog. Listen, fucking Kukui. Hey, yo, look, me and John, we build all the time on here, raising our IQs and stuff like that. I've already had enough respect for John. But Kukui, dog, listen. Now when you make casual takes, dog, I'm gonna be that much more hard on you. Because this debate just showed me you actually have a fucking knowledge of fucking football, dog. So I can't take this whole, and no more casual takes are accepted from you. And I love the fact that Kukui pointed out that even it might not have been that many pieces, but losing X factor pieces of your team does mess up chemistry and timing, and that has to be taken into consideration. However, he said himself that the Eagles are
cliffhanger.
he, he said himself that the Eagles are the most complete team. And being as though he recognized that, but then also pointed out, being the most complete team, they still have kinks and understanding that and then expressing them, he fucked me up. I ain't gonna, he fucked me up. He did. He definitely fucked me up. So I
All
gotta give it
right.
to the Cool.
So
I
you
ain't
got to give
gonna,
it to Cooley.
I gotta give
Okay.
it to Cool.
All right,
What's that? 3-1. New England.
so
It's up to you.
no, it's not up to me.
Two
I
one.
got to vote.
You still got it. No, that's
It's
3,
two
right?
one.
Oh,
It's 2-1.
Gumby's
It's
doesn't count.
2-1.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
Gumby
came in
Stone's
late,
two.
so yeah, no count.
Yo,
Who's
so
Hey,
hold on.
Drew. Drew, what do you think? Who you taking?
Thank you, Drew. Thank you, Drew. But JB, type in the comments who you got.
He agrees, but that he didn't pick somebody. He just
Yeah, you
said
didn't
something.
pick
He just
nobody. You
said
just
something.
said you agree with me. Is you and Drew saying me? Because if you and Drew say me,
Yeah,
that's
but
three
Drew,
two.
Drew, I'm about to say Drew is really just. He said positive things for both sides. He didn't pick one person.
He said I got Kukui. Both had great points. Ja was spitting facts.
I didn't even
Yeah,
see the
but he
that
didn't.
part.
Yeah, but like that's what I'm saying. Like he still didn't pick one thing. Like
So why you got
he didn't pick
Cucuy?
nobody.
If I was spitting facts, why you got Cucuy?
Who? Who you talking
No,
about?
I need him
Drew?
to list his reason why he got
What
Cucuy.
are you talking about, LG?
JB said he liked John.
He just
He said
said
he
that he
got
got
Cucuy.
me. He did pick
He,
me. What are you talking about?
he picked
Oh,
Cucuy. I'm
oh, oh!
just
I
trying
think I
to.
read that wrong. I thought it meant that he said they
So
both
JB
got
got
good
me. So it's
points.
3-2. You win. It's 3-2. You win. I'm gonna say
Okay.
this right. That's some bullshit.
Yeah, that's actually kind of crazy. I ain't gonna lie,
Yeah, it
John.
is crazy. It is, bro.
Got nerfed, bro. It's okay
Cause
though. It's okay
yo,
though.
LG, I want to let you know, right?
Yeah.
JB got him too. So regardless, I got smoked. I just want to let y'all know he talked about his team running the ball after saying he's not confident in his team running the ball, and y'all still gonna give him the dub.
That was what
Literally,
threw me
like, come
off.
That ain't
on,
what I
bro.
said. I
That's
didn't say anything about us running the ball.
you,
I said running
you
screenplays. That was
did
a
say
different.
something about okay,
I
He
so
said
said
taking the
keeping the
screen.
ball
ball
out
out
of
of Dak
Dak's
Prescott's
hands.
Yes, hold
hands.
on.
That's
You're
Keeping
not
the
literally
gonna let
running
ball
the
the
out of
ball
ball.
Dak
do that.
hands can be screenplays
No.
as well. And I
And that's still
obviously
And
just
also running the
also what he
ball
said about
well.
hold on. This is how I know you wasn't listening, bro. What I said out my mouth is Scotty
yep,
already has said that he wants to address
Hey,
screenplays
bring
the
legendary
most
leprechaun up
because he
here.
wants to utilize
gotcha.
Turpin on offense. So we can run the ball without having it being a handoff. It could be an outside pitch. It could be a behind the line of scrimmage throw. That's running the ball.
Okay, isn't that consider a
Turpin,
jet?
I said Turpin's name out my mouth though. That was the thing. That was what.